Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Way Forward podcast, the podcast where we talk about African entrepreneurs building successful businesses here in America. My name is Romeric Dasse, and I'm your host. And I'm excited today to have with me here Korma, who is the founder of Afrocontigbo Dance. Korma, how are you?
I am good, Romari. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Thank
Yeah.
you for making the drive.
Oh, yeah.
How's the family?
Family's good. Yep. Baby's with grandma right now. And
Good.
so that I can be here. And,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing some videos of you dancing with Belly.
Yeah.
I was like, boy, man, this girl just keeps going. That's really good. Well, power to you.
Thank
So,
you.
I want to just dive right in and start. So, can you tell us who's Karma? Tell us about you.
Okay, yeah. Well, Korma is the second born daughter of Mr. Agu and
Okay.
Mrs. Agu. Currently, I am married to Johnny Stuckmeyer. So my name is Korma Agu Stuckmeyer. And I have a wonderful son named Uzamaka Stuckmeyer. We live out here in Minnesota. And, I own this dance company that I've had for 10 years.
Wow.
So this year marks 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
big. That's big achievement.
Yes.
So can you tell us or tell us and the viewers? So where did it all begin, right? When was the choice made to migrate into the United States? There was multiple other countries out there. Was there a specific reason why you came here? And then go into also what was it like being in the U.S. for the first time? Like as an
Right.
immigrant, right?
Mhm.
What was it like? Like what challenges did you have?
I think it was my dad, honestly, that made that decision for us. His sister lived in Minnesota, and so when it came time to go into college, we were just looking for where would we go, and
Yep.
it was either London or the U.S. London because my uncle lived there, and the U.S. because my auntie was here. And so, we applied to schools in different places, and we got accepted here in the U.S.
So you came in as an
I
international
came in
student.
as an international student.
Oh,
Correct.
that's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and migration, you kind of migrate to where you know somebody,
Mm-hmm.
or at least you're comfortable with the language.
Yep.
So language in the U.S. is English. That was our first language in Nigeria, and my auntie was here, so that was family
That
connection.
helped.
That
Yeah.
helped. So came here, went to Winona State, which is
Wow.
it's a little bit out there.
Isn't Winona State is like there's a lot more girls there, right? It's like a girls' school, I think. Or
no,
is it someone?
it's a mixed school.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe they have more girls. I'm not sure, honestly.
I remember talking to someone who went there, who was telling me something about that. But anyways.
Yeah. No, Winona State is boys and girls.
Okay.
And we had, there's not a lot of diversity in Winona, but Winona actually was probably the biggest reason why I started the company, to
Yep.
be honest. Just
Kinda
because
stand out.
you realize that there's a need for something, there's
Yep.
something lacking, and
Yep.
then you try to provide.
Yep, and
that.
I can see that amongst a lot of immigrants, especially those that went to college, it's usually during those college days that there's a realization, with there's a need here, I remember interviewing someone who started a African food thing, and then they also started on campus. So it's like, food is too expensive here. We can find food here, So it's very interesting to see the perspective being developed, all the way back in college. That's good.
Exactly.
Okay. So then what were some of the tough adjustments then you had to go through, coming in?
Probably the weather was a very big one.
That's a big one. Yeah.
It's really cold in Minnesota.
Yep.
And back home, as you know, is warm and comfortable.
Yep.
Sometimes very hot, but all year,
Mhm.
it's nice. So I don't think we really planned for that. We came in August, but shortly after August, it was winter, and that was it was just so cold that I didn't even make it to classes sometimes because
Yeah,
I was it is so cold. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was one. The second challenge would probably be just knowing access, knowing where to go,
Yep.
when to go, how to get there. You don't have a car to
Yes.
use the bus, so it's like the transportation system.
Mm-hmm.
So you get stuck with just going to school and going home. And
That can be tough. That
yeah,
can be very
it
tough.
can be very
Yeah.
tough. So it did help. Finally we made some friends who were Americans, or they've been immigrants here for a long time,
Yep.
that had cars, and so they could like drive us to Walmart, and take us around. And in the weekend we might go to the mall in
Yep.
Wisconsin and come back.
Oh, you guys. Oh, yeah, because Wisconsin will be closer. Then.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was maybe
Yeah.
like a 20-30 minute drive. So
Wow, that's yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember back in my college days too. I was fortunate enough, though I did not come in as an international student. I came in through high school, but I remember being one of the first college student that had a vehicle in my community. So I was giving a lot of rides.
Yeah,
too.
you were the Uber
Yep.
guy.
Yeah, I
For
was
free.
Yep, I was giving a lot of rides, and it was nice because honestly, it made me meet some people that I'm still really good friends with today. Because it was like I was able to give them a ride, and then we started this bond, and then now we're friends. So I can see where this can be very tough,
Oh yeah,
especially with the
I think
weather.
we bond better through challenges.
Yep.
So
Yep.
when you're going through something, somebody else is going through the same thing.
Yep. Yep.
You can be friends forever because
For
of
sure.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I always say that when I first came to the States, some of my greatest, toughest moment, I've met some of my greatest friends who were in most cases Somalians, not even West Africans like me.
Exactly.
And I want to give them a shout out because it's a community that's very helpful. Like they will go out there and help you out. They'll go out of their way. So it's very, very, very important. What you're saying is very true. That in challenges we can definitely meet some great people. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, good for you. So then where do we go from there, right? How do we start with, we're here in America, we just landed, we're going to college, we're doing these things, and then we get this idea. How does that come from?
Well, it started in college. So I've always liked to dance.
Okay.
But in college, we formed like a little dance group. We
Okay.
performed on campus. And then we required to, like, as international students, you can get a scholarship. The scholarship is dependent on what you can give back to the
Volunteering
school.
hours. Yep, I
volunteer.
remember. Yep.
So our hours became dancing. So we volunteered to teach Winona residents how to dance.
Nice.
And so that was a win-win, and that worked out pretty well. And then from there, I was thinking at the time I was the president of the international club. So,
Wow.
Right.
Okay, busy.
So, right, I was doing everything except study. Thank God I graduated. But, so I was busy with dance even in college. But, I have to, as an African immigrant, like, we're here to graduate and make some money.
Your parents are behind you. They're like,
hey. Whatever you're doing, just make sure you get that degree. Get a job. So I did get my economics and business degree.
Nice.
But on the side, I was still kind of dancing, and I joined. We have a dance company at Winona State. It's called Dancescape.
Okay.
It's usually for dance students, people majoring in dance. But I think once in a while they let people join for like
spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, spice it up a little bit. So we did join, me and a couple friends, and it was a good experience. We got exposed to other types of dances. But yeah, then after college, we left from there, and in the Twin Cities, you kind of lose your community a little bit after college.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, so then I was kind of looking for a new community. Even though I was working in corporate, but I was looking for, like, where's my dance community? Because my friends that were dancing with us in college, they've since graduated. Everybody has moved out. So that's kind of how it started. And then I went, I think I took a few, like, salsa dance classes. And I met a salsa dance instructor who was an Afro-Latino guy.
Okay.
And I enjoyed his classes. And then at some point, he was like, show me some moves, Korma. And I was showing him. And he said, oh, you got to teach a class. So I taught his students a class. And then I figured, okay, this might be the start of my community. So I started teaching, and then told my friends, word of mouth. People started coming to the studio. Before you know it, we formed a performance team. It started off with just 3 people. And then,
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys, it reminds me back in the college that you guys do a couple of flash mobs, or you guys didn't do the flash mobs as well?
Oh, no, we did a couple of flash mobs.
Those were pretty popular back then. I remember I was in one of them too.
Oh, really?
We did a flash mob, pop-up flash mob at one of our central, student union thing. Plain noon, people were just having dinner,
Yeah.
and then somebody runs with the speaker, drops it up,
And
plays the
starts
music, and then a
dancing.
bunch of people just come in. It's just amazing to see.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really
A lot
good.
of organizing and coordination goes into stuff like that. People
Yeah.
don't realize, like, oh yeah, it's fun, but like some people have spent many hours trying to make it work. Yeah.
And especially when you're the boss running everything
Right.
behind anyone, especially your company, you're trying to make sure everybody's doing it. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then, what were during this? Okay, the business is there. Were there any points where you like, I don't know, man, I don't know if I can come back from this. Like any big challenges that like came up, like now we're just thinking, okay, we've got somewhat of a skeleton, right? And when we're running, we're doing our thing. And then is there a point where you're like, oh, this happens, and I'm like, now I'm doubting myself. Can I really do this? Was there anything like that you can share with our viewers?
It was probably a time where my OPT was expiring. So OPT is like a work permit you get after you graduate.
Yep.
And it was gonna expire. So, that was like a reality check. And I said, well, I have to take my work seriously in corporate because they were going to sponsor my
that's good.
residency.
Nice.
So at that point I was like, okay, I need to prove myself at corporate a lot more. And so that means I should slow down in the dancing and all that stuff. It really wasn't that much of a challenge, honestly, because at the time I wasn't doing too much. I was hosting classes and I was performing just like here and there. But then it was so I went back to get my master's degree.
Requirement of the OPT, you got to keep going to school so they can keep extending you that
That's
piece of paper.
A huge challenge.
It is
and
one
like
thing.
You graduate, you're an immigrant. You graduate, you get a work permit. If during that 1 year of a work permit you don't get sponsored, you got to go back to school or go home. And you go back to school hoping that with more certifications, with more of an educational background, you can get a better job that would then sponsor you. And
the thing is, you don't want to stay here also too illegal because you're like, in case I decide to go back home, I want them to be able to let me back in.
Exactly.
That's the thing too.
Yeah. So, to be honest, I think we went through that. And by the time I got into, I probably would have I could have probably been illegal for a few months or something. But anyways, you have like a grace period. So there was all that challenges. And then when I went back, I got my master's degree. And then after I got my master's degree, I was in a better job.
Nice.
And then I was like, okay, I can kick this off again.
Okay.
But at that time, I honestly, I wasn't, I was focused on doing what I had to do to survive. There's a survival thing. And survival to me was like, I needed to have a good job. And I needed to be in the U.S. Like, I didn't want to go back to Nigeria at the time. And even till now, some circumstances in Nigeria do not favor women.
I agree.
So it's a struggle. I mean, of course, you can make it if you've been there for a long time and you can figure things out, get a good job and everything. But at that time, I had been here for like 6 years. And I was like, this is my life. I want to stay here. So anyways, after all that, I started again with the dance studio. And that was working out just fine. Good. And then I think the big break, which is, it's not really answering your question because you're looking for like the moment of like doubt. I'm giving you the moment of undoubt.
Well, which is you're not taking us into our next question. So that's good. Right. Because I was going to say the next one is going to be literally, then when did you actually realize, all right, this is mine, I got it, we can do it now. Right. We're running with it.
Yeah. And honestly, I realized that in college. Like, I knew in college that this was the thing.
Nice.
Because we did it and people loved it.
Okay. Yep.
And our director at the time, the director of the international studies, she liked the idea that we're going to volunteer our time dancing as opposed to volunteer. Sometimes you're teaching or you're doing some other random thing that you're not enjoying, nobody's enjoying. But in teaching culture through arts,
I agree.
That made sense, So even at some points, we hosted events for the community, not just for the students, right? And people showed up.
Nice.
They had some food samples. They enjoyed our performances. And they were engaged. So at that moment, I knew there's something here.
You have something there.
I just know that I need to find the time. You have a to-do. It might take you 10 years to get it done.
But
it's a to-do.
At least you have the list. You know this has got to happen.
Yes, I'm like, I know people want to know more about culture through arts.
Right.
I know that. So I'm like, okay, this is something. So it's been at the back of my head. So no matter how many challenges I go through, I just put it on the side and I come back to it. You know, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to keep coming back to it, you know. And I know the next big challenge was COVID.
Ooh, boy, oh boy, COVID.
Yeah,
All right. So we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, okay.
And then we're going to come back to COVID.
Okay. Yeah, so another challenge was COVID.
Yep.
COVID did a number on us and probably a lot of people. At the time, I was working. I was working a 9 to 5, and so we were let go. A lot of people were let go.
Wow.
And also the company, Afrocontigbo, as a dance engagement company, slowed down. People were not gathering. Of course, we couldn't have classes. We couldn't have performances. So on both ends, it was like, whoa. But I was married, and my husband, I am married, but my husband is also an entrepreneur. So COVID also did a number on him.
Ooh.
So we were all kind of like, oh, what do we do? What do we do?
Tough.
You know, it's pretty tough. So I had to start looking for another job because people with corporate jobs could still work from home.
Yep.
But the arts world kind of like shut
down. Because they're busy.
It really did. Yeah. So anyways, I did find another job. Actually, it's the same company who let me go hired me back after a few months.
Oh, that's good.
It worked out at the time. And so that was able to sustain us for a while. My husband did get some gigs as well. But there was nothing happening with Afrocontigbo. So I was thinking about ways to like keep it going. And we did online classes. So that was the kickoff of our online, you know, Zoom classes. Yes. And that worked out. You know, we did videos. And shortly after COVID started, I was sick. So I had surgery and I couldn't dance or much else. But I knew I was going to have that surgery. So I created a lot of like tutorial videos, instructional videos, ready to kind of go and put them on the internet. And, you know, at that time, people were looking for stuff to do. People were like, what about
There's nothing to do outside.
Yeah, exactly. So people that found our page could buy a 30-minute dance exercise thing and then go do it. And some companies also hit me up and said, hey, you know,
this is nice.
Do a class online for our people. And even though I was sick, I couldn't do it. But I'm like, I have a video.
Here's the footage.
Yeah. We could we're all on Zoom anyway. So I'll be there, but you'll be watching me and watching you. So we figured out Zoom, you know. We struggled with Zoom, but we figured that out. And then we did, I think Vimeo, we got a grant through Vimeo. Another filmmaker got a grant through Vimeo. And her film was about me and the COVID period. So that actually helped our online presence because Vimeo put it out. And so I think one day I had like 300 people sign up for a class.
Wow.
That was like, I was like, okay. And this was during COVID. And this is when I almost like had quit. Not quit, but put it aside. But just figuring out different ways to work through those challenges was very interesting, and it worked out. And I was very fortunate to have like a partner that was very, very
understanding and allowing you to go into places.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very good.
That's really helpful.
Wow. What an inspiring story. So then let's take one tiny step back and tell me, how does the team come together? I mean, I was at an event. It was an African festival this summer, and then I'm looking for Korma. They say, "No, Korma is not here. Korma is not here, but the team is here." I'm like, that is good. That's what we want to see.
Exactly.
So
I got good people.
Yeah, that's good. Like, they tell us how do you go about getting all these people, these good people?
Yeah. I like to say it's divine.
There you go.
But there's hard work there, right? I'm honestly lucky that I think the vibes that I'm looking for are looking for me.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So it's like what you're looking for is looking for you. So, and when you find each other, then you have to work hard to make it work. Because sometimes it's not easy.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
But it's like somebody, you know, like one of the dancers, for example, sometimes her schedule is so busy that she is not available a lot of times. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm tempted to be like, I can't rely on this girl. Like, I gotta let her go. But I'm like, she's so great. when she's present, she's so
Yep.
great. So why
Yeah.
would I let her go? So instead of pushing her back when she's having her challenges or she's not available, I try to fold her in,
Yep.
check
Just be
in,
there with her.
and
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, and that's one thing that I learned at corporate America.
Nice. Yep.
Because some,
Yep.
a lot of them do it badly.
Yep.
But some of them, when you're having an issue, instead of letting you go or firing you or something like that,
They'll work with you.
they'll work with you. Like, okay, what's going on? Are you having, does your arm hurt? Let's get you a different screen. Let's get you a different computer.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a good employee, you work hard to retain that employee.
Yep.
And a lot of companies do a bad job at retaining
Oh,
employees,
yes.
especially people of color,
Yep.
because they don't know how to retain us.
I agree.
Right.
Yep.
So, but in my company, it's a very small company, but I have learned from working at corporate and working in other organizations how you can lose a good person because you refuse to be understanding.
That's it. It's so simple, and we wish a lot of them will understand that. It's so simple, just being able to understand people.
Yeah. So back to your question, how did it all start? I actually started off with 2 girls.
Okay.
And one is a Nigerian girl, Mary, and another one is a white Minnesota girl, Leah.
Shout out to Mary and Leah.
Yes. I met Leah through the salsa community. And Mary's a Nigerian girl who I met in my church, but I know she's a good dancer too. So we did a few performances at different events, socials.
Yep.
And I think we needed more dancers at some point because we were going to do a big I think what event was that? Something big was happening, and they wanted us to have 5 to 6 dancers.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, oh, we gotta
recruit more.
We gotta recruit more people, So I asked the girls to find their friends,
Yeah.
And so Mary found a friend, Leah found a friend, and that was the one team.
Nice.
So we worked together that way. And then at some point, Mary and Leah are not part of the team anymore right now. Leah moved on to Florida. Mary is here, but she's very busy with her own life, know. But the people they introduced us to are still there. And that's how it grows. I talk to the team. Anybody we're with, if you have a friend who is interested in dance, let us know. So we don't actually reach out to strangers,
it's
honestly.
Just referral within.
It's referrals within, exactly.
Yep.
And there is, even though it's referrals within, you have to audition.
Yep.
We have to make sure that you can do what is required of
Yep.
you. You
Yep.
have to be able to
Yep.
learn on
Yep.
your own.
Yep.
You have to show up to practices.
Yep.
And then you kind of graduate from that practice time.
Yep.
And then you're ready to perform.
Wow, that's good. I mean, it's good to see that there's steps. You got to do this. You got to do this before you even come in. I always say this, especially when you're starting a business, and you want to get some of your people that involved. I always say, if you're gonna get in this business with me, don't get in this business because you know me.
Right.
Get in it because you want to get. Because I may buy myself out and I'm out, and then it's just gonna be you. So it's really important that they have the passion for it. That's good.
Exactly.
And we can see that whenever you guys come out, we can see that in every single moves that they make. I mean, it's amazing.
Thank you.
I definitely wanted to highlight that because it's a really, 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 really nice.
It's the most important thing is the people. I know in one of my classes in my master's program, we read a book that says first who and then what.
Yep.
If you know the right people, I feel like you can achieve more.
Yep.
And I'm just so lucky to have this group. And we actually are going to be looking for new people.
There you go.
And I think we're at a point where we have to open it up to a bigger public.
Why not get some Afrocontigbo, Chicago, Afrocontigbo, Colorado? You never know,
Any kind of, we could do the Afrocontigbo for the elderly.
Yep.
If we have somebody who's elderly who wants to start a, we're going to, for us to grow, we have to kind of get out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, that is it.
So look out. Anybody who wants to join a team, at the end of the year, we're going to be doing auditions, and we'll see what happens.
That's good. Wow. So let's talk about this event that's coming up, right? We've got a 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So tell our viewers, what are they expecting? What are they in for? What are the details they need to know? Put it all out there.
Okay. So our 10-year anniversary is November 23rd.
Okay.
That's coming up soon.
Yep.
And we are going to be watching a documentary, which we have put together.
Nice.
We did hire Johnny Stockmeyer Visuals. And it's just going to be beautiful. We're representing 10 different individuals
Nice.
in this documentary. And a lot of people have put in a lot of work. So come enjoy that. There's going to be food. Lots of food. Obviously, it's an African event.
Yep.
There's no African event without
There's always
food.
Nope. You got to do
It's
it.
gonna be food. We call it a black tie gala. Nice, elegant, cultural. Like you just show up in like the best way that you want to show up.
Mhm.
You know. So we encourage people to dress nice, like
Okay.
real nice. And then we're gonna take a lot of pictures.
Yep. Nice.
There's gonna be dance performances. We have Darius Strong, which is a very popular hip hop artist here in the Twin Cities.
Nice.
He will be gracing us with his presence.
There you go.
Caroline Naomi, a beautiful musician.
Yep.
She will be there as well singing.
Nice.
And then there will be different performances, one by the Kenyan community, Gambian, and just wonderful other
And
performances.
it's good to be able to touch all these communities, get them out,
Exactly.
get somebody. That's good. That's pretty
Exactly.
good.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, we'll be honestly looking forward to the event. I mean, I'll get my ticket. I'll be there. Hopefully,
Get
I
your
can
dancing shoes.
snap some pictures of you while dancing.
Yes,
But
that
would
would be nice. Yeah.
That's good.
Don't forget your dancing shoes, though.
No,
There
no,
will be
no.
a lot of dancing.
I used to dance back in my college days,
Okay.
and I like to say that I think I still have some moves.
Okay.
So we'll see.
We're gonna find out.
We'll find out. So now I'm gonna go into some questions. So we asked some of your team members to send us questions,
Okay.
suggestions, anything that they would like to know about you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and read some of the questions, and then you just kind of give me an answer back or reaction or whatever.
Okay.
All right. So first question is, what message would you like to share with your dancers, collaborators, and supporters?
Well.
Actually, hold on.
Okay.
What message would you like to share with your dancers, collaborators, and supporters, especially the only man, the Afrocontigbo Papa so far? There you go.
Okay.
So I guess you know who this is coming from.
Right, I do
Afrocontigbo
know.
Papa.
Well, the message I will send first to the Papa of Afrocontigbo.
To the Papa, yeah.
The only man in our group chat.
Yep.
It's going to be, it's like 10 women and one guy.
There you go.
And that has to be a very strong-minded individual.
I
To
agree.
be able to handle that.
I agree.
Papa comes from a family of many women too, so he has
There you go. So he has experience.
He has
Yeah,
experience.
nice.
But I think I'm just gonna say just very good job. Very good job at what you're doing, how you can exist in these dynamics and just be great. You're a great dancer, great
Nice.
performer.
Nice.
Just keep showing up the way that you show up for yourself,
Yep.
for your friends, for your team members, family. It shows,
Yep.
and when it feels like it's a lot, it's okay to take a break. You can tell everybody, hey, I need a month
Yep.
or two, and
Yep.
I'll be back.
Yep.
Full throttle, And for the other dancers, same thing. It's like you go hard, and sometimes I can ask a lot, but it's okay to say, hey, this is a lot right now.
Yep.
Let me take a break,
Yep.
And I know we love to dance, we love to move, we love what we do. So sometimes it's hard to say no,
Yep.
or it's hard to be like, I'm in pain, I need to relax, I need
Yep.
to like go and take care of myself for a little bit. But we have to gauge ourselves, we have to check ourselves and
Yep.
be like, am I all right?
Am I good?
Am I good?
Am I
Can I
good to go?
continue?
Yep.
Am I good to go?
I
Because
agree.
when you're present, you need to be present
Yep.
100%.
That's it.
If you can't be present 100%, then you can take a break and relax until you're ready to be present.
Because people will notice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
will notice.
Yeah.
And, communication is key. Like, we just have to keep an open line
Yep.
all the time. Like, if you're doing an event, for example, you invite me and I can't make it, instead of me to ignore that, I have to, like, maybe reach out and say, hey, good luck on your event. I
Yep.
really can't make it.
I agree.
Maybe I'll be like, here's a donation,
Yep.
to your
Yep.
event.
Yep.
Because what
Yep.
that does is it helps me know that you're thinking about me, even though you
Yep.
can't make my event. But
Yep.
we're fond of each other, so it's like, hey, just so you know. But if you don't communicate, even though you might mean well, that might come off as
He's not interested.
not interested, not supporting
Yep.
you, even though I know you're supporting
Yep.
me. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So
Yep.
support can look different. Support doesn't mean you have to be present or doing anything.
Yep.
You can just communicate.
Anyway helps. Yeah.
And that's support, yeah.
That's very good. That's very good advice. And he has a follow-up question. He says, are you hoping for more male dancers to join the group?
Only if they're cool. cool. They gotta
Only
be
if
cool
they're
like Papa,
cool. There
and
you
Papa
go.
has to be like, okay, you're in.
There you go.
Yeah.
Only if they're cool. One other question that comes back in looking back over 10 years, what were some of the biggest milestones for Afrocontigbo? I think we've talked about it, but you can touch up a little bit on that again just to answer his questions.
Yeah. So some of the big milestones for African Table is probably, well, Little Africa is the highlight of our year.
Yes.
Almost every year we're
Yep.
there. And we have such a good time because it's our community
Yep.
led by our people.
Yep.
And it's just a space where we can be ourselves. It's normally hot outside. It feels right. That's one. We did have an event at the Timberwolves where we
that's
opened it
nice.
up to the community. We taught some community members a few of our routines, and we performed it there, before the game. So
Yep.
that was a highlight. Airport as well. We did a flash mob at the airport.
Ooh.
That was super fun. And most recently was Emume. We did an event in May where we brought together about 60 community members. It ended up being 40 who performed, but we started to train 60, and we had different styles of dance that they could learn.
Yep.
And they put on a really good show.
Nice.
We had 2 shows that were sold out.
Nice.
And I feel like that was probably one of the moments where I was like, oh, this is amazing and we can do more.
Yep.
And I think Minnesota saw that too. A lot of people in Minneapolis saw
Yep.
that, okay, African Table is here to
Yep.
stay.
I mean, this is your base. This is your home. I
Yes.
think people love you here, which is wonderful. I mean,
Absolutely,
especially if it's a state where this started, you can only expect this much support from the community. That's really good.
Exactly.
Okay, let me get one more question. It says, what's next for Afrocontigbo? Any exciting project or goals for the future to look forward to?
Absolutely. We're always cooking something. Something is always cooking, you know?
Go.
So after this anniversary, we're going to take a break.
Okay, that's important.
That's important.
Yep.
Take a break. We're going to breathe, enjoy Thanksgiving, enjoy Christmas.
Yep.
And then we're going to start looking for new members to join the troop. So in the future, we're hoping to have more people that are from maybe similar communities so that African Table can be like an umbrella.
Yep.
And then we have different branches,
Right.
right? So we can have African Table for the elderly. We can have African Table like Togolese group, African Table Nigerian group, African Table Kenyan group. We will always come together to do fusion things.
Yep.
But I think having those individual cultures shared in its own way,
That's good.
to highlight that would be great. We're hoping to get some grants next year so that we can do Emume Part 2, which is the thing we did earlier this year with 60 community members. So we want to continue to educate the community about our cultures
And keep growing.
and also teach them dances if they want to learn it. And then bring them up their confidence in the dancing so that they can perform and just have a good time, because dancing is wellness. Dancing is fun.
Yes, it is.
Dancing is educational. So like you can learn about a culture, you can get fit while doing it, and you can have a good time. So
I agree.
Why not? We're enjoying it. We want to spread that joy.
Yep. That's good. That's good. That's good. Wow. Well, this is good stuff. I mean, thank you very much for sharing your experience. I mean, I think this was very nice. One thing that I would ask you is if you were to give any entrepreneur starting any advice on your whole journey, any takeaways, what would it be?
I would say, if you haven't started, why? Why haven't you started?
Yep.
Just start.
Just start.
Just start.
Yep.
Everything else we get figured out. Literally everything else. And sometimes, I'm going to say this with a little salt, or spoon in cheek, tongue in cheek, is that how to say it? But when you start, sometimes it is easier to pay a fine than it is not to start. You know what I'm saying? Some people might think, I need to get all this covered up before I start.
I agree.
And the cost of you not starting is greater than the fine you're going to pay by just starting, even though you're starting off without maybe registering your business. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we're afraid of things that don't exist or shouldn't be a thing. That's the main thing. Start.
We don't ever want to find ourselves into this situation where like we wish we did this.
Exactly.
I wish I did
Time
that.
is
I wish I
going.
did that.
Time is going. And
Good.
then, find the right people. If
Mhm.
you need to collaborate with someone, just make sure it's the right person.
Right.
Because sometimes some people will kill your joy.
Oh yeah.
They'll kill your
Yeah.
spirit.
For sure.
Yeah.
I've
yeah.
seen a lot of that.
Exactly. And then lastly, I would say, try not to get in debt right away.
Mhm.
Like if you want to start something big, if you want to start something and it's going to be big, how can you start in little ways? How can
Yep.
you build up to make sure that it's sustainable
Yep.
before you go. If
Yep.
you go right away
You
and it
might
doesn't
not
work,
be
you're
able to.
losing
Yep.
so much.
That's true.
Yeah, but and then
That-
be consistent.
Yep.
Yeah, I could keep going, but that's probably good.
I mean, I like the saying here in America. I think the one thing that always comes back is trust the process, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. It's like
Exactly.
there's a process. You just have to
Mhm.
trust it. And if whatever the process is for someone, for Korma, it might be different. For me, it might be different. But just trust the process and keep
Exactly.
being consistent, like you said. And you're for sure gonna be able to get to where you want to go. Well, Korma, this is the moment. I said, this is your time to shine. Let the auditors and the listeners and the viewers know anything you got going on. Let us know
Okay.
what's happening, what we're looking forward to, anything you got going on in your life. You can do it personally, business, anything.
Okay. Thank you for
You're-
giving me the
you're
opportunity.
welcome.
I appreciate it. So first of all, I do want to say thank you to our supporters,
Yep.
our collaborators, the team,
Yep.
our loved ones who are aware of the sacrifices
Yep.
that they have to make. So big thank you to them. Also, thank you to our sponsors.
Yep.
Anybody who has sponsored us from $10 to $10,000, especially the Minnesota State Arts Board
Nice.
and the Minnesota Regional Arts Council. So we're really appreciative for all the funds that we get, and we do program
Yep.
because we have these grants.
Yep.
So I'm really appreciative for that. Another thing I wanted to talk about is our website. We have a website,
There you go.
www.afrocontigbo.com, and if you go to the schedule, you can see all the classes that we have.
Mhm.
At the end of the year in the winter, we don't do a lot of programming, but starting in spring, we have a lot going on. So, just save that website, go to it whenever you can. Also follow us on Instagram, it's Afrocontigbo.
Mhm.
On YouTube, it's Afrocontigbo.
Yep.
You see, I'm going somewhere with this.
Yep.
Everything is Afrocontigbo.
That's it.
So you spell it right, it's AFROCONTIGBO. And it means African Contemporary Igbo. And
Nice.
Igbo is because I'm Nigerian and I'm from the Igbo culture.
Yep.
That's how that name came about. So I think, all in all, I'm just really grateful to be here chatting with you right now and talking about Afrocontigbo. I can
Yep.
talk about Afrocontigbo all day, every
Yep.
day.
Yep.
But I think the biggest thing right now is to just spread the word, let people know that we're here, and
Yep.
we would love to do some more programming.
Yep.
That just requires more funds,
There
more
you go.
grants. Eventually, we want to get a space
Yep.
for ourselves. So we
Mhm.
have a building. Right now, we rent in different
Mhm.
places, which is
Mhm.
great. But the goal is to get our own
Space,
space.
yep.
So just keeping that in mind.
That's
If
good.
anybody out there wants to sponsor us,
There you go.
we're willing to accept sponsorship.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that's it, right? I said all that.
Well, yep. Well, Korma,
Okay.
thank you so much. I want to again say thank you for coming. Thank you for
Yes.
such a great time. And to the viewers, thank you guys for tuning in again. This is Romeric Dase, Way Forward Podcast. Today we had Korma. All of the details of everything that we discussed today will be in the video, her website, her social media, so you guys can go check it out. Also the flyer of the event, we'll push it on the page so that you guys are able to see them as well. But first of all, thank you, Korma.
Yes.
And you guys have a good day. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.